now this thing is still not the way we want it to be, is it? Something's still happening, but we've just calmed ourselves down with the breathing. So the L of Pablo is that we're going to look again at this situation. We're going to look at the source of what was going on, which again could have been internal in our own minds, or could have been an external event. And what we're going to say is these two things. Okay, I'm calmer now, I've self-regulated, I've done my breathing, I've accepted that it is as it is at the moment, I don't like it, I don't want it to be this way, but now I'm calm, I'm going to look at this and say this. Is there something I can do to change this situation? Is there something I can do to turn this into a situation that I like, that I want, that's acceptable? Or is there nothing I can do? Now, when I say doing something, that doesn't mean, I'm going to shout and scream and throw my toys out the pram. It means, is there something calmly, constructively that I can do to improve this situation? Now, most cases there's going to be something that you can do. So you can calmly look at it and say, okay, well, I could do this. I could speak to this person quietly, and I could say, well, this is disturbing me, or I could write an email to my local MP, or whatever the thing is. There's something you can do. Yes, in most cases. Now, when there's something that you can do, then you say, okay, no, well, I don't like the situation, but I can see that there's a solution, there's something I can do. So then what we're going to do is to have a clear intention in our minds of doing that thing that I can do. So let's say it's talking to somebody calmly. Yes? So we're going to practice in a rehearsal. Now I'm going to come back to this and dive into this deeper in a minute, but we're going to practice in a rehearsal, which we'll cover in a minute about how to do that. And with clear intention, we're going to say, okay, this is the solution to that issue, and I'm going to focus on this. So now I don't need to worry about it, do I? Because there's a solution. Does that make sense? Or what's the other option? No, I've considered every possibility and there's nothing I can do. It is as it is. So in your case, Kerry, Saturday, playing rugby, somebody falls in your arm, it's snapped in two. That's it. You can't unsnap it. Yes? And so you did amazingly well, just accepting that. There's no point in going frantic and mad, because it is as it is. Yes?
Yeah.
So there's these two options there. We do something that can be done to change what can be changed, or if there's nothing that we can do, then straight away we hold this intention of just accepting into our reality this thing that we can't change.
Great.
Makes sense?
Can I just say, if you're going to look at it and do something about it, say it is, I don't know, write an email to somebody or have a certain conversation, would you recommend doing that sooner rather than later? So that you
I recommend doing it when you're calm and clear thinking. So if you're sitting there going, right, I'm going to write this email now, don't do it. Breathe, calm. Do it when you know that you're calm, when you're rational, when you're reasonable. Yes? When you can clearly see that you're calm, when you know that you're calm, when you're consciously aware that you're not triggered. If you're still triggered, you go back to P and start again. Okay. And you go back and you accept that you're still triggered, and then you breathe again, you calm yourself down again. Yes? So we don't do anything in terms of response, until we've actually calmed down. Now, okay, we're talking about general everyday things. If this is a life-threatening situation, of course, yes. Somebody's attacking you or whatever, you're not going to be sitting there saying, oh, hang on, let me just try and get calm and do Pablo's problem. You're going to be dealing with that as more of a, so this is just kind of for everyday normal things, but even it can be big things, because no matter what it is, we don't want to be dealing with it in a stressed or angry way. So we want to make sure that we have calmed ourselves. Yes, does that make sense? Yeah. Now, for anybody that's actually played Monopoly, and I know perhaps lots of people haven't, but there's a thing where you go around the board and it says, do not go past go, do not collect £200. Yes? The whole thing about this L of Pablo, when we're looking and saying, is there something I can do or is there nothing I can do? You pick one. You do not go past go. You do not collect £200. You don't move on with anything else until you've done one of those two things. You either say there is something I can do, you come up with that solution, and you either do it or you hold a positive intention in your mind of you will do it at the appropriate time, in which case you don't need to now worry about it because you've got a solution in mind, or You've established that you've done everything that can be done, there's nothing left that can be done, therefore it is as it is, and you need to accept it. So you need to pick one of those two things before you move on and stick to it. This is vital. This is what most people don't do. They will just keep going back to, well, he shouldn't have done that. Why did he do that? This isn't fair. Or why did this happen? It's not fair. This shouldn't be happening. And they keep going back over and over and over. And they're winding themselves up more and more and more. And it's achieving nothing other than creating your own tension, because you're resisting it. You're not accepting it. And you see it so often. People aren't prepared to do something about it, and they're not prepared to accept it. So people create constantly, endlessly, their own tension, their own frustration, their own anxiety, their own anger, because they're either not doing something about something that can be done, or they're not accepting that nothing can be done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So any questions about that bit, about the
Not
L
at all,
bit?
no.
Okay.